Hello, my beautiful angels. I'm so happy that you are here with me today. My name is Haley. A lot of people call me Halo. If you're new here, I'm really excited to share my workout routine. But first, before we get into kind of the actual principle of it, like what I literally do, I want to talk about mindset because I think for me, so much of exercise and working out and fitness is mindset. Like, I'm crazy about my mindset, and if you want to work on yours, we have all these guided journals on my blog hotliterati.com and like a whole community and stuff, because I think yeah, so I want to talk about my relationship to fitness really quick, and then I'll get into like the actual routine that I do. I grew up, active as a kid, like most of us did. I started doing ballet at 3, and ballet quickly became like a really fundamental part of my life. And I would go like 3 days a week. I would like do some sports, but then by the time I was in middle school, ballet was like everything. And by the time I got to high school, I was doing it like 5 days a week after school, Saturday mornings, practicing when I wasn't at the studio. So it really was this like fundamental part of my life. But then when I started doing pageants, because I did pageants for a long time, that was when I actually started going to the gym. And I feel really lucky. My mother works in fitness. She has her own fitness company. If you're ever looking for personal training, Colburn Fitness. So I feel like I had really good examples because fitness and community was always like a big part of my mother's life. And I would grow up like watching her build community around fitness and like joyful movement and group exercise and dancing and stuff like that. I became really comfortable in a gym when I was like 15 or 16 when I started doing pageants that had like fitness competitions and like swimsuit competitions. And that's when I started going to a gym and working out, because I forget that the gym can be intimidating. And if you aren't super familiar spending a lot of time there, it can be like, what am I doing here? And you can get imposter syndrome and feel like everybody else belongs there, but you belong there too. And a lot of the time you just have to like repeatedly show up. And the first time it's scary, the second time it's a little less scary. And the next thing you know, you feel really comfortable and you have your routine. So just take this as like encouragement that I know it can be intimidating at first. And I was scared when I first started doing it, but the more I went, like now, I love going to the gym. I have people when I go the same time every day that I see, I like dap them up. I'm like, good morning. And it's such a privilege and a treat. And I don't go to a fancy gym. My gym membership is like $20 a month, and I like it because they have a lot of locations across the world. So when I travel, I know I can like pop in, pop out. And it's such a privilege to move your body, because I think that's another shift that comes with mindset is instead of like I have to work out, it becomes I get to work out. And what I remind myself is like it's the closest thing we have to like a playground as adults, like going and like moving your body and like pulling things and doing like sit-ups and stuff like that. So for me, this was a massive shift that I think really invigorated my relationship to working out, because I've been pretty vocal about my struggles on and off with eating disorders and body dysmorphia throughout periods of my life. But I think when I was about 22, 23, there was something in my brain was just like, wait, like working out every day is such a treat and I love to do it. And the thing that I really had to work on was like the nutrition and like letting go of the need to control everything. Like that was kind of the more like recent battle I feel like that I have come to appreciate, and now I'm like less of a control freak with food, even though I still am like particular in some ways. So yeah, fitness and moving your body is a treat. It's like being on a playground. It's so fun. And yeah, I personally love a morning workout. I think so much of it for me is momentum too. Like I like to lay out my workout clothes the night before, and then when I get up, I love to get outside as soon as possible, because it's really good for something called your circadian rhythm, the idea that you're telling your body like, okay, hello, it's morning, we're awake. And then people say, and I'm sure there's like research that it also like exposure to sunlight within the first 30 minutes of waking up helps you get sleepier at night when it's like naturally time to go to bed as well. And the circadian rhythm stuff is something I've been into ever since I was like 22 living in Germany. I used to like wake up and take my Bible and walk across the train tracks and just sit in this like beautiful field, and that was like how I would start each day. So I think never underestimate the power of like waking up and getting outside, because it's so good for you. So now we're going to talk about my workout split. What is this? So my workout split is kind of how I think about my workouts throughout the week. And I've had the same workout split for like 2 years at this point, and I've experimented with some like different ones throughout the past 5 years, but this is the split that I like, that really works for me. So I like to go to the gym Monday through Thursday. Monday and Wednesday I like to do an arm workout or upper body. Tuesday and Thursday I like to do a leg workout or lower body. And then I try to do at least 30 minutes of cardio 6 days a week. So that's in addition to my like upper body or lower body workout. And I like to have a gym that is a bit further from me. You know, maybe this is personal preference, but I like to jog to my gym as like a warm-up. I think it's quite nice. But you can also get to the gym and get on a treadmill or an elliptical and do like 10 to 15 minutes of activity as a warm-up. And this is just me because I am also like a morning person and, like I said, crazy about mindset. Within those first few minutes, I'm either listening to nothing, I'm listening to the birds, and I'm looking around at the sun and being like, wow, it's such a beautiful morning. Or I'm listening to a sermon on YouTube or something, or I'm listening to a motivational speech. I just like this because it's the first thing in your mind in the morning, and you want to make sure that you're filling your brain with like good thoughts, like motivational thoughts, like you're making yourself like excited for your own day. So that's how I like to start each of my workouts. I get up, I jog to the gym, and then by the time I get there, I'm like warmed up, I'm ready to go. So now let's talk about upper body day. And again, this is a routine that I've had that was put together by my mother. So if you ever want any sort of like personalized training, shameless plug for her. Obviously I'm biased, but I think she's the best. So when I get to the gym, I do something called the lat pull machine, and all of my machines, I do 10 sets of 3, which means I do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I rest, and that's called one set. So I do 10 reps, 3 sets, and then I'm done with that machine. And this is a rhythm I do with all of the machines I do for both my upper body and lower body workouts. So for arms, I go to the lat pull machine, I sit down and I pull the bar towards me, and I do about 70 pounds. I like to do lighter weights and more reps. I've done like heavier weights, like I feel like I did that at like 85 when I was in college, but I prefer doing like lighter weights at more reps. But you like figure out what works for you, what feels good, what doesn't. So I'll do the lat pulls, and then I will turn my arms the other way like this on the same machine and do the same thing. And that is then working something called your tricep, which is the muscle down here. So I will alternate. I'll do like 10 and then I'll do 10, and I will do 3 sets of each on that machine, and then I'll walk around the other side and I'll do something called the seated row. On this one, I like to do about 55 pounds with like either 5 pounds added or the 7.5 thing pushed in, and you sit down and you pull it towards you, and I do 3 sets of 10 there. And then I like to do the chest press. It's just a machine where you sit and you push out, and I do about 65 pounds, and I do 10 reps, 3 sets. And then I do the fly delt machine. It's the one where you go like this. Again, I do about 70 pounds there, and I do 3 sets of 10. And then I go to the other seated row machine, but it's more like isolated. It's not like connected to the whole thing. And again, I do like 55 pounds there. And then I go to the free weights. So free weights are the ones that are just like dumbbells. They're not connected to the kind of like the pulley system like all the others. And I like to do 10-pound dumbbells, maybe 12 if the 10s aren't there. And I just do 10 curls, 3 sets. And then I'll do tricep dips, which means you have something called the bench. You put your arms on the bench and you hover off of it, and you just like dip down and up, and I do 3 sets of 10. So then that is my entire arm routine. And I've done that for years and I love it. It's like fast, it's not that intense, and I'm like in and out and I'm happy. So now let's talk about my lower body routine. This one is a lot faster. It's much easier for me to build muscle on my lower body than it is my upper body, so I have like a pretty chill lower body routine. But again, like your body's your body and everyone's body's a little bit different. So when I go to the gym to do lower body, I go to the Smith machine, which is the one that's like kind of, you can do squats and things, but it's like assisted. It's not like completely isolated. And I put a 45 pound and a 10 pound on each side, so 55 pounds on each side. And then I do squats and I do 3 sets of 10, but in between those I take 25 pounds, I put them on the ground in front of me and I put my toes on them and I do calf raises. And again, I do 3 sets of 10 on those. And then I go to the one, I can't remember the name, where you're like laying down, but you can like push with your quads, and I do 2 45 pounds on each side, so that's like 90 pounds on each side, and I do 3 sets of 10. And then I go to the seated leg curl and I can do about 90 there, 3 sets of 10. And then I go to the one where you sit and push out, and I probably do like 110 there, and I do 3 sets of 10. And that's all. That's my entire leg workout routine. I don't do anything super complicated. So then let's talk about abs. And I have 2 different abs routines that I do, and I've like done so many different ab routines, like ones I found on YouTube, ones with like trainers and things like that. And this is one I've been doing for like over a year at this point, and it works for me and I really like it, and it's not like super long or super complicated. So I do, there's this thing you can do. I'm gonna stand up high, where you can go like this and you like jump and pivot like that, and it's like that. And my Miss USA showed that to me years ago when I was 18, and it's supposed to be really good for just like definition, for like getting your heart rate up, and for some of the muscles in your core. And so I do 50 of those, and then I do a plank on my side, and I reach through and out, through and out, and I do 15 of those on each side. And then on days where I do arms, I like to do the one where you're on all fours and you reach one arm out and one leg out and you bring it together. I'll do about 10 of those on each side, and I'll do that whole thing 3 times on days where I do, and that's like my full ab routine on days where I do arms. On days where I do legs, I do the twist, I do 50, I do 15 of the reach through planks on each side, and then I take 10 pounds on a dumbbell and I put it on my like foot, and I'll do 50 inner thigh raises with that weight on each leg. And that's my entire ab routine. And then on days where I do arms, I also like to do 10 normal push-ups, 10 tricep push-ups, 10 diamond push-ups. And I've been working on trying to do a pull-up for a long time, but baby steps. So that's my entire ab routine that I like to do. Now let's talk about cardio. So I mentioned I run to and from the gym. I think it's like really nice. I like it. It gets me outside. But I do cardio in addition to this, and I alternate. So twice a week, I like to go on a run. I'll do anywhere from 2 miles to, I try not to go above like 4 miles on days during the week. And then 2 days a week, I like to do the elliptical, and I'll do it with a resistance of 4 for like 30 minutes. And the elliptical is fun. I'll do like Sudoku sometimes on my phone. I'll look at Pinterest. I'll listen to like my own music, like something I'm working on, so that my mind is kind of like stimulated. And when I'm on a run, I either like to listen to a playlist that I have. I love running to house music, or I also think it's quite nice to run in silence, and you hear the birds, you hear what people are saying, and you hear your own breathing, and I think it's easier to pace yourself and be connected to your own body. And then once a week, and this is for me again because I love running, I think it's so fun and I really enjoy it, especially with other people. Once a week I like to go on one long run, which I kind of categorize as anything like upwards of 4 miles. Maybe if I have a race coming up, I'll get into the like 10 miles, 11 miles kind of range. But yeah, that's my entire workout routine. I also think shifting what I define fun as has been really helpful. I am like Gen Z, you know, all the articles about Gen Z personified of like I've been drinking less and going out less. Or I think the definition of going out for me has changed a lot. Like I've just made it a point to prioritize more participatory things. Like I love karaoke, I love going to the sauna, I love going on runs with other people, and like finding activities that are active. And this is something that he writes about in Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, of like cultures that have more like participatory activities for fun instead of just passive consumption all the time. They're just like consumption, have higher levels of baseline happiness. So this is something I love, I live by, and I really do think has like changed my life. So that's my entire workout routine. If you guys have any questions, please comment. I'm happy to answer. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye, guys.